Hello, this is Mr. Chance, and this is another ELA Notes video. This video, I'm kind of combining three different sections of the textbook into one video. So this is covering Chapter 6, Lessons 2, 3, and 4 on the topics of identifying subjects and verbs, hard to find subjects, and compound subjects and verbs. Should really read compound subjects and compound verbs, right? Just to be specific. And then, as I'm sure you've noticed, there is some vocabulary that goes with this section. Some of this vocabulary is a repeat from earlier sections, but I wanted to remind us of a few terms that are going on here. One of them that is definitely new is the very first one, is the word compound. When we're talking about grammar, English grammar, the adjective compound lets us know that an element in the sentence appears more than once. So, for example, a sentence with a compound subject has more than one subject. A sentence with a compound verb has more than one verb or verb phrase. A preposition that has a compound object is a preposition that has more than one object, and so on and so forth. So right now, please pause the video and copy this vocabulary into the vocabulary section of your notes. I will wait patiently for you to be done. Great. Now that you're done, we can look at the next part. So I'm going to make all this vocabulary go away because what I need to do now is tell you about a resource and then explain the process for how this works. All right, so here we go. A resource and a process. Oops, I clicked the wrong button. Anyway, there we go. That's the right button. I could tell because it did what I wanted it to do. All right, boom. Okay, in resources under ELA Notes, there is a PDF file entitled Common Helping Verbs. You need to print that and add it to your ELA notes, or put it up on the computer screen and copy it into your ELA notes, whichever you prefer. Just like the list of prepositions, this list of common helping verbs is something you need to memorize. So work on committing it to memory. It will make things easier for you in the long run. Okay? Now, when we're analyzing a sentence at this stage of the game, because at this stage of the game, we're still ignoring adjectives, adverbs, we're ignoring direct objects and indirect objects, for example. At this stage of the game, our analyzing a sentence process has 4 steps. First step, read the sentence. Then get rid of all of the prepositional phrases that are in the sentence. All of them, right? Start with the preposition, ending with the object. Every one of them needs to go away. Then identify the verb or verb phrase. And then finally identify the subject, all right? In my experience, this process works best if you do things in this order, right? I'm just saying, your mileage may vary, but in my experience, this works well. All right, probably be a good idea to copy this process into the notes section of your ELA notes. And so I'll be patient again for a little bit so that you can do that. All right, now that I'm done being patient, let's look at some example sentences, right? Some examples. This is going to be fun. All right, let me make that go away. And then I'm going to switch colors again because I like switching colors, and get my lovely text box set up so that I can cut and paste my example sentences onto the screen. So here we go. Ready? Yeah? All right. Boop. Excellent. Here are my example sentences. I'm going to spread these out a little bit more. Give me some room to work in between them. All right. Excellent. Okay. So every one of these sentences helps illustrate one of the concepts from these 3 lessons. Right. So let's look at the first sentence. First thing we do is we read it. The Justice League of America gathers for strategy meetings in the Watchtower on the moon. So since I've read it, now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the prepositional phrases. And I'm going to do this by crossing them out. Of is a preposition. Of what? Of America. For is a preposition. For what? For strategy meetings. Right? Prepositional phrase always ends with a noun or an object pronoun. In the Watchtower, also a prepositional phrase. In the Watchtower, because in's a preposition. In what? Watchtower. On is a preposition. On what? On the moon. All right. By eliminating all of those prepositional phrases, what I'm left with is the Justice League gathers. That's the core of the sentence. Okay. Core of the sentence. So now I identify my verb. I identify my verb. My verb is gathers. That's the action here. And we typically underline our verbs twice. And then who or what gathers? Justice League gathers. We typically underline our subjects one time. Boom, I'm done. Okay? Nothing terribly fancy. This is just a standard sentence. All right. Now, the next sentence gets a little more complicated. The Justice League and the Teen Titans gather for strategy meetings and training sessions, that should say, in the Watchtower on the moon. I have a typo. It happens. All right. First thing I'm still going to do is get rid of the prepositional phrases. I lost my cursor there for a minute. Where'd my cursor go? There it is. All right. That's what I get for keeping my glasses on. I can't see up close with my glasses on. All right. My prepositional phrases haven't changed too much, right? Of America got left out, so I don't need to worry about that. But I still have for strategy meetings. But notice the compound object. For strategy meetings and training sessions. Please ignore my typo. In the Watchtower. In the Watchtower on the moon. Right? Boom. All of those are gone. Okay. Now, my verb hasn't changed. My verb is still gather. So I'm going to underline that twice. 1, 2. Yay. Now I've got two subjects, though. I've got a compound subject because who gathers? Who gathers? That's right. Justice League and Teen Titans. And Teen Titans. Sentence with a compound subject. Okay. My next sentence. Superman speaks to the heroes and encourages them with his inspiring words. Because, you know, that's a very Superman sort of thing to do, right? But that point aside, I'm still going to get rid of the prepositional phrases. To is a preposition. To what or whom? To the heroes. With is a preposition. With what or whom? With inspiring words. Those are gone. Now I look for the verb and I discover I've got two verbs. Speaks is a verb and encourages is a verb. I don't do anything with them. Them's a direct object that's coming up pretty soon, but not today. And then who is speaking? Who is encouraging? Superman. He's my subject. All right. Very good. So regular sentence at the beginning, sentence with a compound subject second, sentence with a compound verb next, and then the last sentence is a sentence where the subject isn't that obvious, perhaps. It's a hard to find subject because the sentence is in inverted order. The subject does not come before the verb. Why is Spider-Man attending the meeting? This is a good question because he's in the wrong universe, right? We wouldn't expect to see Spider-Man at this meeting in the Watchtower on the moon. That's unusual. All right. So I've read the sentence. There are no prepositional phrases in this sentence. All right. But what I do have is a verb phrase. The verb, helping verb, is, helping verb is attending. That's my verb. Is attending is the verb phrase, right? And in English, we need to remember that a phrase is a group of words that are treated like one word, right? So is attending is the verb. Who is attending? Spider-Man. That's my subject. Inverted order. The subject's not first. It's actually in between the two verbs, right? So often happens in questions. Questions are not always, but often inverted order sentences, okay? That's really about it for this video. The work that you're going to be doing over these lessons involves analyzing sentences. It's going to involve writing some sentences and things like that in order to make sure you're correctly understanding how things work with compound elements and inverted order sentences. I guess that's it for this, and I will see you again next time there's a video. Y'all have fun. Bye.